Welcome back to another video of Learning Basic Malay Grammar Part 2. Today we're going to learn a few different other Malay grammars such as time expressions, negative sentences, quantifiers, and more. Alright, we are now back to our slides. How's everyone doing with the previous lesson? Hope it didn't made you too confused. We're going to deep dive right in straight away with our first topic, and that is time expressions. How do you know when things happen? Now, there are 4 different categories over here. Really simple for you to use when you're describing things. The first one is now. In Malay, now is translated to sekarang. For example, if you say, I am eating now, in Malay, it will be translated to saya sedang makan sekarang. Saya is I, sedang is am, makan is eat, sekarang is now. So I am eat now. The second is tomorrow. Tomorrow is translated to esok. Esok. For example, they will go to school tomorrow. In Malay, it will be mereka akan pergi ke sekolah esok. And this one is actually translated quite literally. Mereka is they, akan is will, pergi is go, ke is to, sekolah is school, and esok is tomorrow. So, mereka akan pergi ke sekolah esok. The next one is earlier, or another way in English is just now. It will be translated to tadi. Tadi. One example over here is he or she returned earlier. In Malay is dia pulang tadi. Dia pulang tadi. Dia is he or she. Pulang is return. Tadi is earlier. So it's actually different from the previous lesson which I talked about past tense, such as I have returned. It's different when you compare I have returned to I returned earlier. Because I returned earlier denotes that it happened like quite recently, whereas I have returned sounds quite final, like you actually return and that's it. So the tadi is the time expression over here, which is very important. So another one to know is later. Later in Malay is nanti. Nanti. For example, I will shower later. In Malay, you will say, saya akan mandi nanti. Saya is I, akan is will, mandi is shower, and nanti is later. Saya akan mandi nanti. If you remove the word nanti, it means saya akan mandi, I will shower. So there's no timing to it. Like you wouldn't know exactly when you're going to shower. You know you will shower, but you don't know when. So if you put nanti or later, it gives a sense of when it will happen. Alright, that goes our time expressions, 4 simple ones to learn. Next thing we're going to learn is really important things to connect a sentence and in grammar. Those are conjunctions, things that link everything together. There are also 4 simple ones to use over here. The first is, I think the most popular, and. In Malay, it's called dan. If you think about it, the alphabets are like rearranged. Dan. For example, I like coffee and tea, which is true in my life. In Malay, you would say, saya suka kopi dan teh. Saya is I, suka is like, kopi is coffee, dan is and teh is tea. Saya suka kopi dan teh. Really straightforward. Anytime you need to say many things, you just use the word dan. For example, saya suka warna merah, dan hijau, dan kuning, dan orange, which means I like the color red and orange and yellow. Next is but. A negative word. But in Malay is tetapi. Tetapi. For example, he or she wants to go to the park, but it's raining. In Malay, we would say, dia mahu pergi ke taman, tetapi hujan. Dia is he or she, mahu is want, pergi is go, ke is to, taman is park, tetapi is but, hujan is rain. So when you think about it, it says, he wants go to park but rain. Next is or. So when you have to choose between 2 things, in Malay it's called atau. Atau. Let's see over here. Do you want rice or bread? For me, I would like both. Adakah awak mahu nasi atau roti? Adakah is do, awak is you, mahu is want. Nasi is rice, atau is or, roti is bread. Adakah awak mahu nasi atau roti? Do you want rice or bread? Lastly, because. Because in Malay is kerana. Kerana. He or she is late because the car broke down. In Malay, we would say, dia lambat kerana kereta rosak. Dia is he or she. Lambat is late. Kerana is because. Kereta is car. Rosak is spoiled. Now, this sentence, grammatically, when you translate to English, it doesn't sound correct. But in Malay, because of its different grammar structure, it's alright. For example, if you directly translate it, what it means, he late because car spoiled. In Malay, rosak means spoiled or damaged. So you can use that to describe anything that is damaged. For example, television rosak, TV is spoiled. Telephone bimbit rosak, phone is spoiled. Computer rosak, computer is spoiled too or broke down. He is late because car is spoiled. Or he is late because the car broke down. Kerana. Alright, the next thing we're going to learn is possessive pronouns. How do you know if something is yours or it belongs to someone else? There are two ways to describe this. One is to use a suffix, which is a word attached behind the object. And there are a few different ways, such as ku. Ku is my, mu is yours or your, and nia is his or hers. I know it sounds very confusing, but let's take a look at this. Let's say in English, you say my book. In Malay, you will say buku ku. The ku means my. And you know how I mentioned earlier, like in Malay, literally everything is inverted. Like you put the things behind the noun. So in this case, buku ku is book mine. In English, it means my book. So you can add the word ku behind anything you want to denote that it belongs to you, such as pencil ku, my pencil. The next one is yours. So your car in Malay is kereta mu. The mu goes behind the car. If you don't say mu, it just means car. And if you put the word mu, it means your car. So you can use it for any object to describe if it belongs to the other person, your car, mu. The last example here is his or her house. You use the suffix nia. So rumah nia, his or her house. Again, there are no genders, so you just have to guess who this person is just by the word nia. Camera nia, his camera. Bag nia, her bag. Another example over here, things that belong to you, you can use the pronoun saya after the object to show that you own that thing, such as this. My pencil is on the table. You would say, pencil saya di atas meja. So pencil is pencil, saya is my, di is on, atas is top, meja is table. So pencil my on top table. My pencil is on top the table. So you can use saya after any object to show the possession. My cat likes to play. Kucing saya suka bermain. Kucing saya means my cat. Suka is like. Bermain is play. Kucing saya suka bermain. Let's move on to the next topic over here. Passive voice for the actions that have been done. So this is again different than past tense where you're describing an action that was done by the past. Over here, you're using a different form of grammar, which is the passive voice. You invert the sentence structure, just like in English. For example, over here, the letter was written by Ali. This is the passive voice. In English, you could have said Ali wrote the letter. In order to denote the action was done in the past by someone, you have to use the prefix di in front of the action. And what do I mean by that? Let's see over here. The letter was written by Ali. In Malay, you would say, surat itu ditulis oleh Ali. Surat is letter, itu is the, ditulis is written, oleh is by, and Ali is a person. Now let's see this very properly. Tulis by itself is the action, which means write. Tulis is write. You put in front of the word tulis, when you combine it together, ditulis, it means written. If you remove the word di and you just say surat itu tulis oleh Ali, this letter write by Ali, when actually what you're trying to say is written. Another example over here, you could say surat itu dihantar oleh Ali. Hantar means send. Dihantar is sent. So surat itu dihantar oleh Ali. This letter was sent by Ali. Another example here for passive voice, involuntary actions, is to use the prefix ter in front of the noun. It means things that you don't mean to happen, but it happened by itself, involuntarily. And to do that, you have to add the word ter in front of the noun. One example over here is the door opened by itself. So you can see this is involuntarily. The door literally opened and no one caused it to happen, it just did it by itself. You would say, pintu terbuka dengan sendirinya. Pintu is door, terbuka is opened, dengan is with or by, sendirinya is itself. Pintu terbuka dengan sendirinya. The door opened by itself. Buka is actually the main verb over here, which means open. Buka means open. And when you add the word ter in front, it means opened. And usually involuntarily. Alright, the next thing we're going to go to is negative sentences or negative words. The most common one in English is no. And no in Malay means tidak. Tidak. So you can say, I do not like eating durian. In Malay, you would say, saya tidak suka makan durian. Saya is I, tidak is no. Suka is like, makan is eat, and durian is durian. So when you directly translate it, it means, I no like eat durian. In Malay, there isn't a word do, it straight away goes to not. So, I no like eat durian. Saya tidak suka makan durian. I don't like eating durian. If you want to say not means bukan. Bukan. For example, that is not my house. Itu bukan rumah saya. Itu is that. Bukan is not. Rumah is house. Saya is mine. Or rumah saya means my house. As we learned earlier in the possessive nouns, rumah saya means my house. So you would say, itu bukan rumah saya. That is not my house. Because itu is that, bukan is not. Itu bukan rumah saya. The next one is none. When there's literally nothing there or an absence, you would say tiada. Tiada. Example over here, there is no one here. Literally, there is no one here. It's empty. In Malay, you would say, di sini tiada orang. Di is at, sini is here. Tiada means none or like none. Orang is people. So when you translate it, it means at here, none people. In English, it would say, there is no one here. Because di sini means over here, and tiada orang means no one. If you replace it, di sini tiada makanan, which means there is no food here. Di sini tiada taxi. There is no taxi over here. So if we replace the word after tiada, it means that thing is not even there. Next topic we're going to learn is superlatives. How do you know if that thing is the best of the best or the worst of the worst? There are many ways to describe this. And in English, we always use the word of superlative degree when things get more and more. For example, the word big is followed by bigger and biggest in English. In Malay, the word doesn't change. Big is remaining. You need to put something else in front of the word big to describe that it's bigger. And in this case, it's the word most. Most in Malay is called paling. Paling. One example here is, this is the largest house in this area. In Malay, you would say, rumah ini paling besar di kawasan ini. Let's break it down. Rumah ini is this house. Rumah is house, ini is this. Paling besar. So besar means big. And paling is most. So when you put it together, it means most big. And in English, most big can be translated to biggest or largest. Di is at or in, kawasan is area, and ini is like here. So rumah ini is this house, paling besar is the biggest, di kawasan ini means in this area. Anytime you want to describe something that is like the highest degree, use paling in front of it. If it's the smallest, you say paling kecil. Kecil is small. If it's very delicious, you say paling sedap. Next is intensification. When you want to say something is more or exaggerated from the existing word. So just now we used most in front, which is paling, to describe that thing. But now here it's more like you want to intensify, which is the word very or extremely. If you think about it, very big and biggest is not the same thing. That's the same example over here. Very in Malay means sangat. sangat. And extremely means amat. One example here is she is extremely beautiful. Is dia amat cantik or dia sangat cantik. Dia is she, amat or sangat is very, extremely. Cantik is beautiful. Dia paling cantik means she is the most beautiful compared to dia sangat cantik, she is very beautiful. So it depends on how you want to describe the degree of this superlative. For me, I always use sangat. I think I rarely use amat. It's rarely used nowadays. The last one is emphasis. When you want to just emphasize on this one adjective, more like just for casual purposes, you repeat that word twice. For example, this food is super expensive. In Malay, you say, makanan ini mahal-mahal. Makanan ini means this food. Makanan is food. Ini is this. Mahal by itself means expensive. So mahal-mahal means like really expensive or like double expensive. So mahal-mahal. If you change it to like this food is tasty, you could say makanan ini sedap-sedap. Like really good. Or today is very hot. Hari ini panas-panas. Our last topic for this lesson, and this is really important when you want to describe the quantity of objects. In this case, quantifiers. How do you describe to someone the different categories of quantity? Over here, there are 9 examples, and I'm just going to go through some of them really quickly. The first one is many. Many in Malay is ramai. So if you say, there are many people there, in Malay, you would say, ada ramai orang di sana. Ada means have, ramai means many, orang is people, di is at, sana is there. So when you translate it directly, it means have many people at there. But of course in English, we know it as there are many people there. So ada ramai orang di sana. Next is some. It means you don't actually know how many it is. It's just not a lot but not too little. And it is called beberapa. I repeat, beberapa. So I bought some apples. You don't know how many, you just bought some. In Malay, you say, saya membeli beberapa buah apple. Saya is I, membeli is bought, beberapa is some. Buah apple is apples. Actually, apple is the apple itself, and buah is the quantity of apples. I'll get to this maybe in another video. Beberapa means some. Next is a lot. And a lot means banyak. I use this word a lot of times. You could say, he has many books. And in Malay, dia mempunyai banyak buku. Dia means he. Mempunyai means own or like has, but in this case it means own. Banyak is a lot. And buku means books. So dia mempunyai banyak buku. He has many books. Next is both, especially when you literally have two things at the same time. And in Malay, it's called kedua-duanya. Or even just kedua-dua is fine. For example, both siblings went to school. In Malay, you say, kedua-dua adik-beradik itu pergi ke sekolah. Kedua-dua means both. Adik-beradik means siblings. Itu is like those, so like those siblings. Pergi is go. Ke is to. Sekolah is school. So kedua-dua adik-beradik itu literally means for both of those siblings. Pergi ke sekolah means went to school. Next is all. And all in Malay means semua. Semua. Like all of my family will come to the event. In Malay, you would say, semua keluarga saya akan datang ke majlis itu. Semua means all. Keluarga saya means my family. Akan means will. Datang is come. Ke is to. Majlis is event. And itu means the. So, semua keluarga saya means all my family. Akan datang is will come. Ke majlis itu is to the event. The next one is any, and it means mana-mana. You have to say both of it together because mana by itself means where, a question. So together is mana-mana. Let's say, you can take any book you like. Kamu boleh ambil mana-mana buku yang kamu suka. Kamu is you, boleh is can, ambil is take. Mana-mana is any. Buku means book. Yang is that. Kamu is you. And suka is like. So if you think about it, it says, kamu boleh is you can. Ambil mana-mana buku. Take any book. Yang kamu suka is that you like. Kamu boleh ambil mana-mana buku yang kamu suka. Another one here is enough. So enough in Malay means cukup. Cukup. I have enough money to buy that item. In Malay, you would say, saya ada cukup wang untuk membeli barang itu. Saya is I, ada is have. Cukup is enough, wang is money. Untuk is for, or to in this case. Membeli is buy, barang is item, and itu is that. So, saya ada means I have. Cukup wang, enough money untuk membeli, to buy. Barang itu is that item. I have enough money to buy that item. Saya ada cukup wang untuk membeli barang itu. Another example is when someone asks you, do you want more food? You just say cukup, enough. I don't need any more. Cukup, no more food. Over here, we have few. This case is sedikit. Sedikit. I only ate a little food today. Saya hanya makan sedikit makanan hari ini. Saya is I. Hanya is only. Makan is eat. Sedikit is little. Makanan is food. Hari ini, together it means today. I only ate a little food today. And lastly, I don't know why I repeated the word banyak. Like, I think it's an error over here. But here's another example. He has many hobbies. Dia mempunyai banyak hobi. He has many hobbies. And I know just now I said banyak means a lot, but banyak and ramai are synonyms. So ramai and banyak means a lot or many. So you can use them over here. Dia mempunyai banyak hobi. He has many hobbies. Technically, you could say dia mempunyai ramai hobi. That's also correct. Alright guys, that's all for this video of this lesson. I hope you guys really enjoyed this of learning basic Malay grammar part 2. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!